Yo, what up, people? Welcome back or welcome. Hope that this finds you when it needs to find you. I hope that you hear what you need to hear. I gotta confess, I'm a little bit low energy right now. It could be the weather. It's been raining and monsooning where I'm at. It could be the warehouse that is so hot and humid that I work in. It could be a lot of things. However, I'm still here. Please let that be a lesson to whoever you are, whether you're struggling, whether you're not struggling, just show up. Continue to do what you know you can. Continue to be you because you know you can. Continue to show up, because this drained and fatigued feeling, it will come with a lot of things, and it will definitely come with being a creative mind, which is today's topic, is creative minds. We struggle often. The constant noise of something that's too creative to decipher when we need simplicity, or it's too simple when we feel that we need complex, and we get so frustrated because we know that we can do so much better. It's this constant train of thought that runs so deep that sometimes we forget that it's there. It's a constant understanding or realization of the reality that surrounds us, so much to the point where it's overwhelming. It's so loud when we need it to be quiet, or so quiet when we need it to be loud. A disconnect from the moment that's in front of us. And that's only fixed with an effort that is so huge and so great that sometimes we just feel like we're too drained to put that effort in, We're seemingly, or we feel like at least, we're the only people that are conscious enough to know ourselves, yet it requires so much effort to know ourselves that we want to put it down. Yet when we put it down, we feel this guilt that's so heavy that we just need to pick it up, To create is pure and necessary. But when it becomes a job or a chore or a responsibility, then as does everything else, as does thinking, feeling, sitting, eating, sleeping, existing, it all becomes a chore or a weight or responsibility. Our life becomes a chore or a weight or responsibility because we associate all of our life with creation. We associate the entirety of us with creation, with our creative mind. We fail to realize that we are more than that creative mind, because that creative mind, it controls us day in, day out. We don't control it, and that's the painful thing, is that it's either so fluent and so beautiful and so just subconsciously, artistically accurate, or it's this grind, It's ironic because as much as it feels like a chore, somehow that's the only outlet that we have is to create. The only outlet that we have from the thing that we feel that we need to get away from is the same thing that we feel that we need to get away from. Does that make sense? We're running away from the responsibility and the weight of creation by trying to seek out more creation and that pure creation, when realistically we fail to realize that we can't do that. We can't call creation to us on command. Creation calls us when it needs us. We don't call creation when we need creation. We can force ourselves into the grind of those things, and that's how you perfect the craft that you're in. However, you can't force and fabricate a natural understanding and a natural, raw, organic creation. You can't. No matter what, no matter how hard you try, no matter how many hours you spend. You can put yourself in the environment in which that will be in high supply. However, you can't demand. If there's a supply and demand, you can't demand. It will supply when it needs to supply, but you can't demand. The demand is for you to work. The demand is for you in the moment when it needs you to create. You can't control it, And as much as there's this constant loop of creating and getting frustrated with that creation, and then seeking some kind of relaxation within more creation, could we ask for any better? Because in my honest opinion, I don't think we can. In my honest opinion, I think that I wouldn't trade this weight and responsibility of creation for anything. I wouldn't go back to the start and say no if I didn't have to deal with this day in, day out. There's a weight and a responsibility and anxiety-causing thing that comes with waking up every single day and choosing to be the best version of yourself. However, would I trade being a good person for being a shitty person if it meant that I led an easier life? No, that's not me. Would I ruin the relationship of the people that I have around me if that meant that I didn't have to deal with the people that I had around me because they come with their ups and downs? No, that's not me. And the same thing comes with creation. Would I trade the purity and the organic and beautiful nature of the things that I create for not having to wake up and know that there's more that's needed from me? No. And that's, it hurts a little bit to say, I'll be honest, because that means that I still have to continue to wake up and still have to continue to put effort in on things that are just what feel like they're so out of reach. And I have to continue to take another step closer to them when I don't know how many steps are ahead of me, you know? And I think that the one thing that I truly have to battle with this is the ego, is feeling like I'm entitled to this. I'm entitled to that talent and that beautiful organic creation, but I don't need, or I'm not obligated to put in the effort that comes with that. That's an ego problem, and if you're clicking on this video, I guarantee you that you have that problem as well. That's not to say that believing in your talent or understanding or acknowledging that you have a talent in what you do, that's not to say that any of that is an egotistical problem, but if you feel that you are entitled to the glory and fame and all of that without the responsibility of things, then that's an ego problem. That's a reality that you have to fight and a reality that you have to face. Something that you have to come to terms with, and that creative mind isn't going to let up, but you need to find a way to do your best with the fact that it won't let up. You need to find a way to not be toxic to those that are around you because it won't let up. You can't take your problems out on other people. You can't act as if your constant thought means that others have to constantly be considering something that is greater than themselves. You can't force somebody into a way of living just because you constantly repeat and double down on making sure that you force yourself into a certain way of living, you know? And that may be a little bit of a different lesson, but what I'm truly here to acknowledge is that being creative takes a lot of effort. It takes learning and processing and growth, and that's not what people like us want to hear. Because in my honest opinion, what's the most beautiful for me are the opening and beginning phases of what I create. It's the natural creation. It's waking up with a melody or writing the first steps of a melody and just having that, and having that beautiful, pure sense of just accomplishment. It's not the grind. However, if I have to grind and I have to learn and I have to process through it, I don't want to hear it, but I guess I'll have to. It's taken me months, if not years, to finish up my next project. I don't even know if I'm close to doing it, if I'm being completely honest with you. I'm recording this video and I have no idea where I'm at with it. At times I put it down for a certain amount of time where I just feel like I'm so disconnected from it. Yet I still make an effort every single day to at least be in it, or at least be stuck in the guilt of it, which is not what I should be doing. But I'm at least engaged with it every single day. And the reason why I know that this is for me as well, and maybe you know that this is for you because of this fact as well, is that on those days when it is so frustrating, when the only thing that I would like to do is just rot in my bed, for some reason I choose to throw myself deeper into this creation. Now, I've mentioned before, don't put a toxic you into a scenario that you need to create. You know, don't force your hand into something that is super important to you, because the toxic you is only going to toxify the thing that you care so much about. However, I don't lead by example with that. Whenever I'm frustrated for some reason, I either stick to being way too guilty about the reality of the fact that I don't have the energy to do so, or I'm either just diving into it just because I feel the need to dive into it, because the pressure is so great that I just double down. And is that healthy? I'm not sure. I really don't think it is. I'd like to find either a good balance, or I need to find a way to fall in love with the struggle moments and continue to do that. Either way, I need work in both areas probably. Even if I'm picking one and sticking to one, I'm sure that I still need work on both of the areas, because I'm sure that having boundaries or having boundaries, I'm sure that in both senses of having boundaries on each side is still necessary for me to learn on, no matter what phase of life it applies to. You know? It's all an ironic loop. It is. If you create, I'm sure you get it. If you don't, I'm sure you get it as well. You know, you don't have to be creative to have a constant train of thought, but when you are creative, it's a different constant train of thought. It's a different reality that you just have to submit yourself to every day. It's almost like a constant anxiety that you're trying to decipher and trying to understand to an extent where you can capitalize on it. Capitalizing on your pain consistently is not really a fun way of living, because you're constantly in pain and then constantly trying to figure out ways to come up from that. And like I said, it's so loud when you need it to be, or when you need it to be quiet anyways. But it's so quiet when you need it to be loud. And what I mean by that is that when you intend to do nothing, when you intend to separate from it, when you intend to relax, it's shouting at you. It won't give up. It won't give up. It's trying to force its way into your head. It's trying to force its way into your ear. But when you try to dive deep into it and you say, you know, I want to do this now, you're so void of the ideas and it's so simple and bland that you know that you can do better. And that's the biggest issue with creating, is that your best creation comes from the peak of emotion. Your best creation comes from either the lowest of the low or the highest of the high. It doesn't come from the middle ground when you're stable. So to have a creative mind, you have to just not be stable. It's like where we constantly play off the chemical imbalance that's in our head. And that feels unhealthy, at least. Maybe it's not to take our pain and to be able to make something great out of it. Maybe that's not as unhealthy as I'm led to believe or I've been taught. However, it feels very unhealthy to constantly be fighting for something bigger off the back of our pain. To constantly be in pain and to act as if that's a normal thing that we're supposed to do. You know? It's a bizarre way of life, to say the least. It's a lot to come to terms with, a lot to experience, and it's a lot of experience that you only gain from living. And like I said, that's not what we want to hear. We don't want to hear that there's effort required in this process. We just want to be at the end of the process and see that we've nailed it. But you don't nail it unless you learn. You don't learn unless you experience. But we don't want to learn, we just want to create. Again, you can't demand creation. Your creative mind demands you. It demands you in the moments when you have no energy to do it, but you still have to get up and do it, because if you don't, then you feel guilty. You know? It demands you in moments when you feel like the only thing that you need is to just give up. And when you feel like you're so ready to go, it demands that you just chill out. Let's relax. Let's feel that pressure. Let's dive into it a little bit more. Okay, now we feel horrific, or now we feel absolutely wonderful. Okay, now here's your organic creation. But you can't, unless you stop and you're quiet enough, you don't find organic creation just off the back of things. It doesn't work like that. And like I said, or I didn't say, maybe I just thought it, you can put yourself in the scenario where you are constantly creating, so you are opening the door to more organic creation. You can constantly be doing that, but is that the reality of life? I don't think so. Do you need to eat and sleep and work and do this or that? Yeah. And that's another struggle that comes with being a creative person, is that the entirety of this world and the entirety of the setup and the society that is set up for us in this world is so far disconnected from our passions that Like, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to get up every single day and continuously, you know, fight in those 5 minutes that you have of a day, or what it feels like 5 minutes that you have of the day, when you feel like you should be taking those 5 minutes to take a quick power nap or something, because that feels like the only proper sleep you get. You know, it's all a bizarre concept to know that you deserve something greater, but to also feel like you're not willing to, you know, like you're entitled to it so much that you don't feel like you actually have to put in the effort for it. And maybe that's just me. Maybe I was raised spoiled, which I have the power to admit now, that I, as a kid, being the youngest child, basically got everything that I wanted. And if I didn't, the way to solve it was throw a temper tantrum. And now that's been bottled up inside, and the lack of expression, because I realized that that was an unhealthy pattern. Suddenly it all went into one place where I didn't process it, one place where I didn't understand it, until the point where suddenly it just exploded in a lyrical form, or I wrote about it in a way that felt beautiful to me, and now suddenly I have a talent on my hands. So I took an unhealthy pattern, solved it with an unhealthy pattern, then eventually found a healthy pattern to solve it. So maybe this all isn't so bad, but maybe it just feels horrible. What part of it feels horrible, and what part of it is you know, supposed to feel horrible? Is it supposed to feel horrible? Is that what this is? I'm confused, to be honest. I don't have the answers for it. And the answers for it may never truly be found, but still here, I'm still doing it, and could I ask for any better? I'm really not sure I could. So I guess I'll end this with the same thing that I started with. As much as I'm low energy, I'm still here. As much as that creation takes a lot of effort, I'm still creating. As much as loving takes a lot of effort, I'm still loving. As much as caring takes a lot of effort, I'm still caring. Don't give up on you, no matter where you're at, no matter what you're doing, no matter what it is that you feel is your calling. If you're clicking on this, I guarantee you that you have enough of a talent within you that you feel that you have the right to click on this, but you have to work for it. Now, there's a fine balance with that. Understand that you don't need to work every second of every single day. And if you can do that, then do that, and I'm sure you'll get there a lot faster than I will, because I don't work every second of every day. I basically do bare minimum, and that feels like shit for me to admit. I feel like I need to do more, but I also feel like I can't force creation, or I know that I can't force creation, but maybe I need to do more in certain moments. Whatever it is, it's for me to come to terms with. Whatever it is, it's for you to come to terms with. I understand the struggle is what I'm trying to say. Keep showing up. Keep waking up. And if it's bare minimum that you can do, then it's bare minimum that you can do. And if you have to wait for the organic something to come, then wait for that organic something to come, and that's when you start. But after you start, it requires hard work. I promise you that much. And you will need to work hard for it. You will need to work hard to accomplish that. But I believe in you, and I back you to do so. So don't give up. Don't give up, and you will make it. Whatever it is, whatever form of making it that you believe is there for you. And even if it's not what you believe is there for you. Even if your form of making it is so far-fetched and it's just not a reality for you, you're going to make it in some form that maybe you just don't know or don't realize yet. It could be a full, beautiful family, and what you can do is at least just be an emotionally mature human being for that family. Your talent is communicating. It could be that simple. Whatever it is, beauty and the utmost love from life is deserved to you. And it will come to you, no matter what the pressure of this outside world is, no matter what advancements in technology they make, no matter what job they rip away from you, no matter who the people are that surround you, no matter what your concerns are, I'm sure you'll be okay. But I get it, that this creative mind comes with a struggle. It's a constant noise. I get that. But you'll be okay. You'll work your way through it. Just keep showing up. I promise you, just keep showing up. And something will be a light at the end of the tunnel. I swear. Thank you guys for listening. If you listened, I hope that all made sense. I hope that I'm not just rambling. I probably am. I hope you get where I'm coming from. I hope that I get where you're coming from, and either way, I know that I'll be okay. And I can guarantee you that much. So, I love you guys. Peace.